for its growth and for the things that were to come. And what that's brought is dangerous streets, fatalities, and reactionary opportunities for people to talk about this in the council. We need to stop talking and we need to start doing. One of the first things that we can do in the city of Quincy is start enforcing the rules of the road. We need more police officers to pull people over when they're driving too fast, to stop them from going down streets the wrong way. If we're going to put up signs, we need to make sure we're enforcing those signs in those neighborhoods that we put them up, or don't put them up at all because they're not solving anything. They're creating more confusion on our streets. We need to start protecting the constituents who live here in the city of Quincy, who are trying to go to work, to get to the train stations, to go to school. And to do that, we need to make sure we're enforcing the rules of the road right here now and start planning for the future with complete streets so we can protect those of us who want to do alternative ways to get to school and to work on bikes and on other things.
Bicycle and pedestrian safety are big issues within the city of Quincy. As the Commissioner of Public Works for the past 6 years, in addition to advocating for safety, I actually did something about it. We organized with the department and AAA and Children's Hospital and Mass Department of Transportation. We organized Quincy's first bicycle pedestrian safety rodeo. It's one of the biggest components that we have, not only in this municipality, but all across the Commonwealth, is to educate our young people as to what to be alert for when they're on their bicycles or when they're about to cross the street. And that's what that rodeo was all about, to educate our young people, put them on their bikes, and in a sense, have them navigate what is a roadway with stop signs and other people and traffic, to educate them as to how to handle those types of events. We need to do a better job striping our crosswalks. We need to do a better job synchronizing our traffic control signals. And clearly, we have to bring into the city whatever state funds are available. And the SMART program and attracting state dollars is vitally important to make sure that we continue to make Quincy a safe place to walk and ride a bicycle. That's really the future of our city, to be a multi-dimensional transportation society. A lot of people like to walk, a lot of people like to take bikes, take cars. Thank you.
I love the bicycle, and I've done a lot of biking in Quincy. I oftentimes would think nothing of taking a bike ride to Braintree, and I've never had any problems because I know the rules. And I've seen people who ride against the traffic and everything, and I basically tell them, get on the other side, and I wear my helmet, and I understand. I mean, safety is a huge thing, because I don't want to get hurt or hurt anybody else. And I understand safety because some of the medical devices I've designed can kill people. So, and the petroleum overfill, I have at refineries my name on the patent. I definitely understand safety on that one. That was a huge project. But basically getting back to traffic, the mixing of bicycles and people with the bike paths, I think is a really bad idea. That's part of globalization. And basically, I think that I totally agree with my colleague here that we do need education. And I was educated properly as to how to ride my bike, and I think that that would go a long way to making safety a paramount issue. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bowen.
Being part of the city council right now, we're in a finance committee where we're looking, and we've already passed a comprehensive traffic study, pedestrian safety study, as well as bicycle safety in the city of Quincy. We're looking to pass that as soon as it comes in front of the city council and ready to approve it. We're going to be working together to elaborate a citywide design study that will find out where we need mitigation and problems within the city. It will also find out where we have all these accidents and how to mitigate that. Very importantly is we need to become more of a pedestrian-friendly city. A lot of people do not drive vehicles or cars, and they rely on crosswalks, and they rely on bicycles and MBTA systems and ferry systems and using the T. We need to provide that service for all of you, and to do so, we need to find out where the mitigation needs to be. I'm willing to enforce these rules and regulations that we have in the city, but we need to do it collaboratively as a group. We need to work together. In the wintertime, when there's causing potholes, we need to have a very good system with relieving that in our streets and our sidewalks. It's very important. We've come a long way in the city of Quincy. But remember, all of this costs funding. It costs money to do this. We're going to need to generate more funding from our commercial tax bracket, from the developers, to allow this to happen in our city. It's a work in progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Generally, Quincy is a very safe city, and I'm very proud of the Quincy Police Department. They actually put all of their information up on the city website. You can go scroll through and kind of see what they're being reported in your neighborhoods. Accidents is part of that data. But I also want to mention the first question on public safety in the language services says was that the Smart 911 system is an opportunity to get online and provide your personal information. And so that might be something that you can have that younger generation provide so that when somebody is coming to your home, they know the information, they know the language, and they're providing that in advance of any emergency situation. We have a lot of distracted drivers on the road right now, and I think that's part of what is contributing to these statistics. There's texting and driving. They're not paying attention, they're tuning into the mobile apps and the ways following around the city. One of the projects that I've worked on with my district is that the Atherton House School does a safe walking routes to school, and it's with one of the transportation programs. They come out, they see where the children are living, and I think part of it is about reducing the traffic volume in our city and making people, pedestrians, feel comfortable and encouraging walking. It's also a health and wellness initiative, but what we did was mapped out routes to the schools, and I know a lot of, particularly in the Asian community, grandparents are walking their grandchildren to school, picking them up at the end of the day. So we designated walking routes to the schools, and it was kind of a walking school bus theme that the older kids and the chaperones would pick the younger kids up along the way. And I think encouraging more pedestrian use, particularly through the schools, is an opportunity we can do better on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So when it comes to pedestrian safety and bicycle safety, those are two prongs of what I like to discuss as the umbrella under traffic, right? You're also talking about congestion and parking issues, but with pedestrian safety and bicycle safety, those are alternative means of transportation for folks to get around across the city here. And those are the kinds of things we want to promote and support. I had the honor of serving on Quinn Cycles not too long ago, and working with these folks that live right here in the city, they went across and identified the spines or the main arteries here in the city that would be perfect to create some bike lanes, protected bike lanes, so that those that are using alternative means of transportation, alleviating our congestion problem, are going to be safe when they're on the roads. That's just one step in that direction. As my fellow colleague had mentioned, we have approved the Complete Streets proposal that has been in front of us now, and that is going to take a few months before we can actually request any grant funding. And the reason for that is because we're going to go into the neighborhoods, into the communities, talk with folks like yourself to make sure that we're addressing the issues that you see every day, that we don't miss a street, we don't miss a crosswalk, and when we do propose to request for funding, we have every fix that we need in place. That's one way we can create funding to address these issues. Another is an ordinance that I'm sponsoring right now, which is requesting that developers moving into the city do contribute into a fund, and that fund will help to pay for repairs and the fixes that we need to protect all of the pedestrians and all of the places. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. So we've offered you some tough questions. Now we're moving on to questions.